I'm not even going to sugarcoat this. 3 games out of the Olympic break, 3 straight losses, and the Toronto Maple Leafs have been outscored 14-5 by the Florida Panthers, the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Ottawa Senators. Just like that, they've crashed back to the bottom of the Atlantic Division, and now the trade board is stacked with 13 Leafs names. 13. That's not normal deadline chatter. That's a franchise staring at itself in the mirror and questioning everything. When insiders begin saying, almost everyone is available, that's not speculation, that's direction. The reality is brutal. No urgency, no structure, no identity. They didn't just lose, they unraveled. Sitting 8 points out of a wild card spot with playoff odds at a microscopic 1.2%, this isn't a slump, it's a full-blown alarm siren. And when Elliotte Friedman said on Hockey Night in Canada that the organization is widening the scope of what it's willing to consider, that sent a powerful message. Sure, pillars like Auston Matthews and William Nylander may not be on the table, but beyond that, the doors are open, and in Toronto, when doors open, seismic moves can follow. According to Daily Faceoff, 13 Leafs are listed as potential trade candidates, and that's not about minor adjustments or depth trimming, that's structural evaluation at the highest level. This is no longer about salvaging a season, it's about redefining a core, resetting a culture, and deciding who truly belongs in the next chapter of this organization. And look, some of these names are logical. Pending UFAs like McMahon and Lawton are obvious deadline pieces. Depth players with manageable cap hits can be moved without shaking the foundation. That's standard business. But the temperature changes when you start hearing bigger names like Morgan Rielly, Max Domi, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, or even Anthony Stolarz enter the conversation. That's when you realize this isn't light maintenance. This could turn into something seismic. Rielly carries a hefty $7.5 million AAV and a no-move clause, which makes any deal complicated and more likely an off-season discussion. But the mere fact his name is surfacing tells you everything about where this organization's head is at. Franchise cornerstones like Auston Matthews and William Nylander remain untouchable, and there's a protected tier of players shielded by no-move or no-trade clauses, contract structures, or injury realities. But even that safe list comes with an asterisk. There's legitimate buzz suggesting that Joseph Woll could carry more trade value than Stolarz, which shows just how deep this evaluation is running. From a fan's perspective, this hits hard. 9 straight playoff appearances now hanging by a thread. A season that once felt salvageable suddenly looks exposed. That 3-game win streak before the break? It feels like a distant memory. This isn't about one rough stretch. It's about 5 months of inconsistency finally caving in under pressure. What we're watching isn't a slump. It's the weight of unmet expectations collapsing all at once. And here's the part that really hits the gut. When insiders say, all but 4 are safe, that's not panic talking, that's acceptance. That's an organization coming to terms with reality. The Toronto Maple Leafs could be preparing to sell, and not quietly, but aggressively over the final stretch before the trade deadline. If that trigger gets pulled, this roster could look dramatically different in a matter of days. Part of me understands the logic. Replenish the draft cupboard, rebuild depth, reset expectations, protect the future. But another part of me feels the frustration because we've seen versions of this before. Coaching changes, minor deadline adjustments, short-term pivots dressed up as bold action. This time feels heavier. This feels like an organizational crossroads. There's frustration. There's disappointment. But there's also real opportunity. Because what happens before the deadline won't just shape this season, it will reveal exactly how serious the Toronto Maple Leafs front office is about fixing the foundation. This is a defining stretch. Are they bold enough to make uncomfortable decisions? Disciplined enough to commit to a clear direction? Or will they hesitate and risk drifting further into mediocrity? Now I want to hear from you. Which of those 13 names do you move first? Is there someone you absolutely refuse to trade no matter what? Or is it finally time to reset almost everything and build this the right way? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's have a real, honest conversation about the future of this team. And if you're riding with Power Ka Kira, hit that like button and subscribe. We're pushing towards 60 subscribers and I'd truly appreciate your support in getting us there. I'm Victor, and whether this deadline brings chaos, clarity, or a complete shakeup, we're breaking it all down together. What it means right now is simple and serious. The next 6 days could shape the next 6 years. 13 players on the trade board isn't rumor season noise, it's a reckoning. If management truly believes this season has slipped away, Then committing fully to a sell-off is the disciplined move. Stockpile assets. Recalibrate. Build properly. But if they hesitate, if they try to straddle the line between selling and competing, that's where things become dangerous. That's where franchises drift. As a fan, I don't want denial. I want clarity. I want conviction. If this ship is taking on water, fix it the right way or chart a completely new course. Because right now, it feels like the Maple Leafs are heading straight into turbulent waters, and we're about to find out who survives the storm.